Residents of the village of Shepherd of Zagori awaited representatives of the Shell company with protests before the public hearing on the oil exploration plan in the area. Former President of the Republic, Nishani, has accused Prime Minister Rama of violating the Constitution by delegating unauthorized powers to the Deputy Minister. President Meta paid homage today and placed wreaths at the statue of Ismail Qemali near the Albanian Parliament to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his death. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, the 24th of January, 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Wara News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Residents in the village of Shepherd of Zagori have done anything but welcome the representatives of the Shell company. Protests among community members awaited the representatives, who went there for a public hearing on their plan for oil exploration in the area. Residents have refused to enter the hearing and instead have held debates with their local representatives of the Lieberhof municipality. They are now seeking to have their objections expressed at the hearing. Representatives from the Shell company have already held several hearings, but have faced opposition by environmentalists and locals. The National Park of Zagori will soon become the primary location for the study by the Netherlands company known as Shell for finding oil reserves. The project is expected to start in the spring of this year, while debates and objections have already begun. The Asset Registration Office is still in the process of registering 10,000 legalization permits. Head Registrar Valdrin Pietri said that this remains a serious challenge for this year. There has already been concerns over the important documents in the institution that risk being damaged. It is now expected that a digitalization process of these documents will be underway. At immovable property registration offices, there are 10,000 dossiers with legalization permits that are still without a certificate of ownership. Pietri said that the challenge of this institution is the mortgage of any facility that goes through Aluizni. He stated, in the physical inventory that we made a few days ago at the Tirana office, there are about 10,000 legalization dossiers still unregistered. In the 2018, this stock was about 20,000 licenses, of which 9,500 were certified last year. We have set a new target that by July 2019, we'll have completed the registration of every legalization permit. Meanwhile, concerns remain over the possibility of documents becoming damaged, while in February the process of digitalization will begin. Today in our archives, we have about 47 million sheets of accumulated paper since the creation of the Albanian state, which are still preserved in manual archives that may become damaged or torn, said Pietri. The Asset Registration Office has offered a total of 300,000 services during the 2018 year. International agreements will force Prime Minister Rama to exercise the post of Foreign Minister, as the President of the Republic will not allow the transfer of duties to Gent Sakai. Former President of the Republic, Nishani, accuses Rama of introducing a new type of Albanian diplomacy that is bound to collapse through its violation of the Constitution. According to Nishani, when it comes time for the Prime Minister to sit down with the Greek party to discuss the Maritime Pact, he ought to appear before the Albanian public and revoke the post he conferred upon Gent Sakai. Regarding the non-decree of Gent Sakai by Ilir Meta, the former head of state says it will be the Constitutional Court to decide whether or not the President of the Republic has such an authority. As for the lack of Gent Sakai's security certificates during his time as Deputy Minister, Nishani suggests it is not enough just to have a parliamentary investigation, but proposes a criminal investigation to bring Gent Sakai to justice. President Ilir Meta has paid homage today while placing wreaths at the statue of Ismail Qemali near the Albanian Parliament to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his death. In a statement to the media, Meta praised the role of the father of the nation and his contribution to the founding of the modern Albanian state. Today, it is my pleasure not only to bow down before his efforts, but also to engage in strengthening the Albanian state, preserving and enhancing our national symbols, all while fulfilling our dream of becoming a fully European Albania, expressed Meta. After his speech at the ceremony, the head of state was asked by the media about the decision by Prime Minister Rama to delegate Gen Sakai to the post of foreign minister. Meta stated he did not comment on the issue revolving around the government's internal organization, but added that his decision were guided by the Constitution and the decisions made by the Constitutional Court. Prime Minister Rama paid a trip to the regional hospital in Elbasan this morning, where for almost 6 months work has been underway on the transformation of its infrastructure and technology. Reconstruction of the hospital is expected to be completed in June, and according to Rama, it is essential to transform the hospital concept into an environment where patients receive their services with serenity and order. Rama stating, "The real challenge is to have as few people in the hospital as possible. Hospitals are for patients, where they require peace and calm in order to recuperate. Of course, there must be schedules for visiting hours to allow family and friends to see their loved ones, but the hospital cannot be a gathering point for anyone other than a patient, relative, or friend. These investments are worth it. Hospitals need to provide serenity and order on its premises. Now we see a fantastic transformation happening. Before, it was a horror show, but the improvements are now beginning to take shape." Rama was accompanied by the Minister of Health and Social Protection, Gerta Manastirliu, who explained that it has been 10 days now since the new magnetic resonance imaging scanner, valued at $770,000, has been in operation. The Elbasan Hospital was constructed in 1976 and provides a total of 83 beds, 25 for emergency, 35 for cardiology, and 23 for neurology. Deputy leader of the Democratic Party, Edi Paloka, invited citizens to take part in the opposition protest. The protest was announced for February 16th of the next month. During Paloka's speech, he stated, "The only language the Prime Minister understands is that of protesting. If citizens do not react, everything will only get worse." The purpose of our call to citizens is to unite everyone, those who experience problems and difficulties, those who see taxes rise higher and higher, and those who seem to be getting poorer and poorer. Anyone who is confronted against these challenges should get up and join the protest against Rama. Otherwise, he will only continue to mock us, prove himself to be even more arrogant, and things will continue to get worse and worse as we watch our children continue down the path of emigration out of Albania. The European Union ambassador declared openly that the war on crime in Albania is over. Even the famous force of law war has been suspended. Paloka ended by stating, "Again I say, Albanians should not be raised to be victims of crime. We expect the negotiations to be opened in June, but with this forum and this regime, as well as with Rama as our Prime Minister, there will be no such negotiations." Bilcha in Berat is one of the well-known villages for olive cultivation. But according to farmers, 2018 was not a prosperous year. A sizable portion of production was lost and did not reach the point of ripening, forcing farmers to turn their production of olives into oil. The product, they say, has seen lackluster sales and have remained on site due to low demand in the market. "We had the olives but turned them all into oil. The oil price is cheap and nobody even buys it because there is no market demand," complained a farmer. Farmers claimed that the pesticides that were provided by the government did not have any effect on the olive trees, which were becoming damaged by diseases and insects. "The chemicals they provided to us were all expired," stated one farmer. The Berat region is known throughout the country for the quality and quantity of its olive production, but farmers have been complaining for years about the lack of support from government and the problems they are facing involving bankruptcy and damaged infrastructure. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday from 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and have a great night.